Nashville Public Radio serves Middle Tennessee in many ways, every day, including through this podcast. You can support it by leaving a review or rating, by telling a friend about it, or by contributing at WPLN.org/give.
This is the Nashvillager Podcast. It's October 17th, 2025, and today is National Mulligan Day, a day to give a second try at something that didn't work out the first time. The term comes from golf, where a player might let their buddy take a mulligan after a particularly bungled shot. Or sometimes in a charity tournament, you might be able to pay for the opportunity of calling a mulligan. There are a few stories for how the term got its name, but nobody's quite sure what's true and what's legend. The bottom line is, today is the day someone has designated as your chance to take another chance. I'm Nina Cardona, and this is your daily digest of what's happening around Middle Tennessee with historical context from Nashville Public Radio, WPLN News. You could say Tennessee's statewide school voucher program needed a mulligan in order to come to fruition this year. Back at the start of 2024, Governor Bill Lee made it the signature issue of his State of the State address. But he couldn't get it across the finish line in that legislative session. His party held all the power, but the Senate had one idea of how to build out the proposal. The House took a different approach, and they could not find common ground. So the mulligan. The proposal was resubmitted this year. It made it through the legislative process. And now, for the first time, students across Tennessee, with families at all kinds of income levels, are using public money to pay for their private K-12 education. But of course, government programs are not the kind of thing where it's just one and done. There's always more opportunity to revisit the details the next time the lawmakers come together to meet. And sure enough, for the third year in a row, it looks like vouchers will be on the agenda in the next session. This time, the topic will be expansion. Bill Lee has said the only problem he sees with the initial rollout of what he calls education freedom scholarships is that they were only able to offer 20,000. He's indicated he'd like to grow that number, although he hasn't put an exact figure out into the public discourse. House Speaker Cameron Sexton has, though. He wants to double the number of vouchers. That would bring the total number almost as high as the number of applications that were received when the program opened up. That said, as written now, the law reserves half of the vouchers for families making less than $173,000 a year in household income. It's not clear how many of the applications met that criteria. It's also not entirely clear how many of the students with vouchers were already enrolled in private school. They pay out $7,000 a year per child, much less than the average annual tuition bill in the state. So that's not necessarily enough to help someone go to the private route if they weren't already either enrolled or pretty close to being able to afford tuition. The other thing that's unclear is whether or not the students who made the switch because of the vouchers are actually learning better in the private school setting. The only ones required to take standardized tests for the state are the students who were already in the state's earlier voucher program, which was a sort of pilot for how vouchers could work in Tennessee. It only offered the assistance to low-income families in the Nashville, Memphis, and Chattanooga school districts. The latest round of test scores for that group were just released. They show slight gains in math, but those voucher students' English and language arts scores are declining. In contrast, their public school peers are making gains in that subject. But of course, grades aren't everything. And some families made the switch for reasons that have nothing to do with academics, which probably explains why the state says it's hearing from parents that 99% of families are happy with their vouchers and private schools. In just a few minutes, how to find some of the most beautiful autumn color in our region. That's coming up after the newscast.
We know that local government isn't the only part of your life.
Like the mayor, I know that city government isn't the only thing you're concerned with.
We are still struggling to find affordable housing.
They're taking up at this bus stop.
That's one of the unique challenges with my business.
I'm WPLN's Metro reporter Cynthia Abrams. I'm working to break down topics like transit, housing, and local government to make sure that when you are thinking about Metro, you're getting the full story. Follow my latest stories at WPLN.org.
Here's the latest from WPLN News. Authorities still don't know what caused the explosion that left 16 people dead at a munitions plant in Hickman County. An analysis of historical explosions by WPLN News suggests the disaster is the deadliest U.S. explosion of the 21st century. Reporter Caroline Eggers has more.
Explosions happen fairly often. The most common cause in the U.S. is probably gas pipelines, which kill an average of about 10 people each year. But big explosions with many fatalities have been rare in official reports since the year 2000, and really even further back than that. The explosion that killed 16 people last week was at Accurate Energetic Systems. The company handles several types of explosives, including TNT. During a press conference Sunday, Tyra Cunningham of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives did not disclose what type of explosives were in the building that ignited.
Any information that we give to the community, we want to be 100% spot on, so I will not speculate.
Weapons production is not more dangerous than other manufacturing jobs, nor is it deadlier than other vocations. Logging, fishing, and hunting have the highest fatality rates. But explosives work is dangerous and appears more likely to cause simultaneous fatalities. Just 2 months ago, a blast at an explosives factory in Brazil killed 9 people. WPLN reviewed more than 80 of the most fatal explosions across 200 years of U.S. history. Many involve steamboats, coal mines, or gas infrastructure. Most recently, oil refineries, fertilizers, and sugar have also caused highly fatal explosions. Of all of the historical incidents reviewed, about 20% were from accidental explosions of munitions. All but 2 of those happened before 1950, and both were on U.S. naval ships. Officials have not determined whether the latest incident was accidental. The results of such investigations can affect industries, sometimes resulting in new safety regulations. Governor Bill Lee suggested Sunday that the investigation could take months.
In an effort to get the answers that people need for closure, for understanding,
and perhaps accountability. Caroline Eggers, WPLN News.
In Nashville and several other mid-state communities, people will gather tomorrow as part of a nationwide demonstration protesting President Donald Trump's agenda. The No Kings protest is the second of its kind. The first was a response to a Washington, D.C. military parade on Trump's birthday. This weekend's demonstration aims to protest cuts to Medicaid and the deployment of the National Guard to several U.S. cities, including Memphis. Organizer Kathy Austin of Nashville Indivisible said she's worked with police to ensure the event is peaceful. She told WPLN News she expects a big crowd again, given the government shutdown and Medicaid cuts.
They're seeing that the price of eggs is going up, not down. They're seeing that all these promises that were made about how much better life was going to be is not occurring. And you got a federal worker in your family, and there's a pretty good chance you got an unemployed person who'd had a good job and good benefits and was taking care of their family.
Nashville's first No Kings protest drew roughly 10,000 people. The June event resulted in one arrest of a counter-protester who attendees say argued and spat at people before pulling a gun. WeGo is rolling out a free fare program for qualifying residents. WPLN Cynthia Abrams reports the program, called Journey Pass, is the latest update to be funded by the city's new transit tax.
Not everyone will qualify for free bus fares. The city is working on setting an income limit. Metro is also registering folks who receive benefits from Metro departments and certain local nonprofits.
The goal really of this is to be able to provide free transit services for qualifying Davidson County residents that need it the most.
That's Kendra Abkowitz, Metro's Director of Sustainability, who says right now, Metro is focused on enrollment.
The pop-up events have been highly successful. I think what we're also hearing is that word of mouth is becoming an incredibly popular way to spread information about the program.
While Journey Pass is enrolling people, recipients won't be able to access free fares until later this fall. Cynthia Abrams, WPLN News.
Forever True, Forever TSU. That's the theme of this year's homecoming at Tennessee State University. Alumni are flocking back to Nashville this week to reconnect with old classmates at the historically black university. TSU plays Howard on Saturday night for the homecoming game at Nissan Stadium. It starts at 4:30. You'll find more news anytime at WPLN.org. Fall foliage tourism, also known as leaf peeping, contributes billions of dollars to local economies across the nation every year. And in West Virginia, officials are working to make sure visitors can find the best fall colors the state has to offer. For the Appalachia Mid-South Newsroom, WVPB's Chris Schultz reports.
It's October, but it seems like someone forgot to tell the trees at Cooper's Rock State Forest just outside of Morgantown. Gerard Forster is a German line dancer traveling through the eastern U.S. He says he's a little disappointed in the lack of a seasonal display after passing through other areas.
The color is in Blue Ridge Mountain is better. Was yellow and red.
Yeah, but not here.
But here, only green, yes.
Yeah. For the past several years, the state of West Virginia has invested in tools and resources to help travelers to the mountain state avoid this fate. But knowing when colors appear and peak can be tricky. Jeremy Jones is the director of the West Virginia Division of Forestry. He says the science of why leaves change helps officials to understand where the best colors will appear, and more importantly, when.
When the days start getting shorter, when there's less daylight and the temperatures start to drop, essentially the chlorophyll production in the leaves slows down and stops.
That causes the leaves' green to fade away and allow other pigments to come through.
And that's what creates the beautiful red, orange, yellow, the beautiful color that we're used to seeing every fall.
Jones's office helps to create a fall foliage forecast map published each year at the end of summer. The prediction is based on historical data and environmental factors like rainfall and temperature. This has been an atypical year, with a wet start to the summer, followed by very dry, warmer weeks extending into early October. Regardless of when the colors do show up, Jones says he welcomes the opportunity to highlight one of West Virginia's best features.
We're the third most forested state in the country. We're fortunate to have a very diverse hardwood forest, which is why we have beautiful fall foliage like we do. But it's just very flattering, and it makes me proud and privileged actually to help the Department of Tourism promote this beautiful time period for our state.
Lauren Bodner is the Director of Public Relations and Strategic Partnerships for the West Virginia Department of Tourism. Her office pulls photos from social media for their live fall foliage tracker, so people can see in real time where the color is.
We definitely are trying to give travelers the best insights of where we're seeing the leaf colors changing.
Bodner says the state's geographical range and varied elevations means a longer foliage season. So even though visitors to the Morgantown area may be met with green, towns further east and higher up like Davis or Lost River in the Allegheny Highlands are vibrant with color.
From what we've seen in our research, there aren't many states, if any, that are making this information as accessible as we are to travelers.
Though West Virginia is not strongly associated with fall foliage, Bodner calls it more of a hidden gem. But tourism is becoming big business, with the state government estimating it added $9 billion to the economy last year.
Really just like year over year, we've seen an increase in tourism to the state. And with that, we're seeing, the creation of more jobs, and the economic impact is, really just been amazing.
Bodner and Jones both encourage everyone, visitors and locals, to get out and enjoy West Virginia's public lands during the most visually striking time of the year. For the Appalachia Mid-South Newsroom, I'm Chris Schultz.
We do this news roundup every weekday. Please consider subscribing on your favorite podcasting app. And thanks so much to all of you who have left 5 stars, a thumbs up, or a review in your app of choice. That little bit of love really does tell the algorithms more people should hear about us. And of course, everything at WPLN News is listener supported. You can make a donation at WPLN.org. And that's it for today. Thanks so much for listening. Let's make this day a good one. And we'll catch back up next week.